soldiers on the table march in line. Painted shields and swords, they shine so fine. Dice roll like thunder, sealing fate. In this battle of ours, let's not be late. Wargaming in miniature, no war too small. Battles on the tabletop, we'll conquer all. Heroes made of plastic, armies clash and roar. Wargaming in miniature, let's fight some more. Oh. Kings and castles rise where Soda can stood. Mountains made of books, it's a cardboard wood. Strategy of giants on a scale so flee. We topple empires with a cup of tea. Wargaming in miniature, no war too small. Battles on the tabletop, we'll conquer all. Heroes made of plastic, armies clash and roar. Wargaming in miniature, let's fight some more. Battlegrounds in living rooms, legends unfold in the chaos of dice. Our stories are told from the rookies of war to generals wise. The fate of tiny worlds lies in our eyes. Snacks to the side and the glue close by. We men, broken warriors, give them one more try. Cavalry rides beneath the lamp's warm light. On this tiny frontier, we rewrite the fight. Wargaming in miniature, no war too small. Battles on the tabletop, we'll conquer all. Heroes made of plastic, armies clash and roar. Wargaming in miniature, let's fight some more. Let's fight some more. Let's fight some more.
Alright guys, I am getting set up, so bear with me. How's everybody doing today? I hope everybody's doing okay. Let me go ahead and get rid of this. Let me get my microphone a little bit closer. Alright, hey. Hello again everybody, this is Derek, and I am coming back at us with Wargaming and Miniatures. Wargaming Weekly, which is a live stream I try to do every week. But lately I've been doing 2 or 3 times a week. I did get a shipment of stuff in yesterday. I was expecting it today, but actually I got it in yesterday. And I got this in a couple of days ago. This is the Game Master's book for Pendragon. It's still shrink wrapped. I can't wait to pop this open and take a look at it. But what I want to do is I want to do that on a specific video, like an unboxing video, kind of like a book review. So let me set that up to the side. And then I got this package in, which, like I said, I don't know if you watch my live streams, you knew what I was expecting. But this is 1.5 millimeter static grass. This is just meadow, right? It's kind of a darker green. It's got some yellow in there, lightening it up just a little bit. It's It's really a good color. It really is a good color. But I actually prefer one just a little bit lighter. They have something called Spring Meadow, which, if I realized what I was doing and not a bumblehead, I would have ordered Spring Meadow instead of Meadow. I misclicked when I ordered this, but it's actually really good. I use it on a lot of terrain and figures anyway. But one thing that I really was looking for, well, that was the main thing I was ordering. And so was, what, my camera? What the heck is going on with my camera? There it is. Hey, everybody. Okay. This is what I've been waiting on this. Oh, I am so in. Okay. This is medium brown talus. It's not ballast. It's talus. And ballast is like super small grains for like representing small rock gravel, representing like sand or maybe soil, and talus represents, my understanding, rocks, right? Now I've got another bag of talus. It's called coarse, and the rocks are like this big in the bag. I mean, they're gigantic rocks. But these, and which would be perfectly fine for like if I was doing 28 millimeter projects or whatever. But since I'm doing a 15 millimeter project, I need this size. These look like they're 1 to 2 millimeter, maybe 3. Maybe there's a few of them in there that are 3 millimeter. But does it say anywhere on the packaging like how many millimeters they think it is in? All I see is mixed grades and colors for realism. Color with earth colors. So if I could put a liquid pigment on top of this, and it was, paint your rocks if you want. Model basing areas, create rock piles and rock slides. But what I'm going to make with these are rock walls. I'm gonna maybe add this a little bit to my flocking. I'm gonna sprinkle in a little bit of these to on the bases of my figures, but primarily I wanted it so that I can make some rock walls in the 15 millimeter scale. I think these, just looking at it in the package, I think these are going to work out really good. Okay, and then I got this. Now, this is acrylic. I don't know. My autofocus should be on, so it should focus. This is water. And the choice that I made was slow river water. Now, from the pictures that I saw when I ordered this, I could have sworn that it was going to be a green color. But it looks like a muddy brown color. But and the way the text is, well, of course it says color may change when drying, obviously. But it does say it can be poured directly on out of the bottle to the area, and it will auto level, which is self-leveling, which is kind of a problem, actually. I don't want another version of the Woodland Scenics liquid water. I don't want to pour it on there and have it run everywhere. I don't want that. So we're going to test. I'll test this. I want another paste like the Vallejo or the AK paste, because like I will make water pieces for terrain, and I don't want my rivers, like if I made a strip for a river, I don't want it running off the edges, You know, I know I can seal off the edges, or I could put like a little artificial bow on the end to keep the water in the center, but I want the water to go to the edge. And that's why the pastes all seem to be the best for that. Okay, more things. Now these are all kind of I'm just kind of excited about, but there's no real need for it. I got a matte varnish from Ammo because I was curious to see how it compares to my AK Ultra Matte, right? Because AK Ultra Matte I've been falling in love with. I avoid the Vallejo Ultra Matte polyurethane. I only use this sparingly because of the bubbles. This bubbles up because it's thick as it's very super thick and it's got bubbles in it. Now I have used the Mecha varnish, which is also a matte varnish, and this is a good one. This one and the AK are my favorites, but I saw that they had a matte varnish, and so I'm going to experiment with it. I'm going to try it and see how it fares. The first thing I don't like is the amount you get. Okay, the AK. Actually, there is a smaller AK. Hold on, where is it at? Give me a second. I think I've got it up here somewhere. Yep. Okay. So this is the normal size that I get, which is 100 milliliters, maybe? Yeah, this is 100 milliliters. And this is the exact same thing, but it's 60 milliliters. And when I ordered this, it says that it's 60 milliliters, but it seems like it's not. It's not the same. It's a smaller diameter bottle, and it's a little bit shorter. So I might say this is like 50 milliliters, or they just give you a little extra with the AK. But I like the AK best. I like the Vallejo Mecha varnish second. The polyurethane is on the bottom of my list, whatever. And but we're gonna try it just to see if it's good quality. I'm just disappointed at how thin it is, how small the bottle is, and it's got a screw top, but it looks like a pop top. Hold on, this is the screw top. But just like all their other ammo bottles that I've got, yeah, it's a pop top, which I kind of like that. I kind of like that a little bit, but the Vallejo one's like that. The AK, I actually prefer to open it up and just pour. This is actually an empty bottle. I've been saving this to maybe put other things in it that I might want to use as a dropper. But, okay, that's enough of that. Enough of that said. Moving on. More things. I got some colors that I hadn't gotten in the past, and basically just stocking stuffer, if you want to say. I just stepped it up. This is beige pink, right? Beige pink. See, I got this because I read somewhere that beige pink is a really good flesh tone. And I ordered it before I basically committed myself to, where's it at? This flesh tone, this ionic neutral flesh, beige pink. Okay, beige pink looks just a little bit lighter than this. It's hard to, with the brightness of the light, it's inaccurate. These are actually a lot closer. I'm looking at my monitor, and it looks like this one is much lighter than this one. But when I look at it head on, in without the monitor and the camera, there might be some coloration distortion based on the camera and how it's adjusting the colors. These two are actually very close. I would consider this one more of a sun tanned, but it looks like it's a good color. I'm always looking for good flesh tones, but I am going to be using ionic flesh because I think it's the best. And then I ordered this bad boy, and I ordered it specifically for the French company that has the purple plume. I ordered this color called Amethyst. If depending on which side of the bottle you look at, it has a different color. So I'm going to have to shake this up to make sure, exactly what color it is. But I've been using, or I had used in the past, I don't use it anymore, this thing called Alien Purple, which Alien Purple is way too dark. And then I tried, where are you at? Where are you at, motherfucker? Okay. And then I tried this color, which is, I think it's called Mauve, right? It was originally picked up for, and then I had a leak. Okay. But, and the name of it's been covered up, so it's hard to tell. But, and the little barcode that's on the side, it's all rubbed off. But, this is a polyS or polyscale color, and this is a really good color, but I just don't I don't know, but you can kind of see how, well, you can't see here, but it's a different type of purple, and so I got this Amethyst hoping it would be lighter than this, I've got a bunch of other purples, but they're like Imperial Purple might actually work as well. Reaching over here. This is an old Citadel color. I mean, it's so old that the bottle is round. But I've had this for years and it still works. It's Imperial Purple. And this is a little bit darker than the Mauve. But I think this one is, I think that's a really, it's hard to tell. You can't see squat diddly poop. There we go. I think this color, once I get it all shook up, because, you can see it needs to be mixed up. And there's a mixing ball in all the atom colors too. That's always a benefit. But yeah, there's the plumes on, or the pom-poms on one of the 4 line Fusilier companies is purple, right? You got green, blue, orange, and purple. And I've kind of struggled I even sometimes have to mix my colors to try to get the exact color I need. And I'm hoping that this Amethyst is going to be the right color. Let me put this Imperial Purple away. Let me put this Mauve away. And this Alien Purple can get put away. It's too dark. Okay, and then I also picked up this thing called Duck Blue. I picked up Duck Blue specifically for a commission, right? I've got the box might actually get here today. If it does, I'll put these guys off to the side and not work on them. Well, I'll work on them during this video, but going forward, I'll be working on that commission. This is Duck Blue, which is, man, my camera, the lighting on the camera makes everything look brighter than it does in I don't know, is this more accurate than this? I don't know. It's hard to tell. But yeah, it's almost like this camera here. My brightness level is maybe not my brightness. My saturation's up a little too high. But yeah, I got this specifically for the Civil War guys that I'm getting ready to do. American Civil War, that is. And then I also picked up, okay, this purple can go. Over here. Actually, I could probably switch this one out. For that one, just to make it easier to get to. Okay. And then I picked up this thing called pale green. I've got a million greens over here. You can see I've got 3 full rows of green, and there's like 12 per row. But they're almost all dark or OD or, some kind of military color. But I needed something a little bit lighter. This is also a military color, I would assume, but I needed it to be like a light green, just so whenever I needed to do some light green, and I think it looks really, really good. I'm eager to use it on something. And then finally, making a long story even longer. Okay, let me put that away. This is a wash. It's a wash. No. Now, I don't know why this bottle is so small. It's only 15 milliliters. I expected it to be 20 milliliters like this, just because of the design of the bottle. But I'll go with it. I'll try it, and we'll see. It is called Dark Wash. So when I got it, I looked at some of their other washes, and they seem to be too brown or too. I don't mind a brown wash, but they seem to be too light or too dirty. Where this is dark, hopefully it's got a little bit of black in it, but I have to also kind of see how this wash will dry on the model. Okay, so that's what I got in. Let me put this away. Okay, now I finished the brick wall town sectors. I finished the little wooden fence town sector, and of course the picket fence town sector. So I got 4 town sectors with borders. I'm gonna make one with those stones. I'm gonna make a stone stacked wall, like a country stone wall. And then I'm also going to use some of my popsicle sticks, which are only 10 millimeters wide. They're super thin. Hey, Sean, man, what's going on? I'm getting ready to paint these French Cuirassier, but I'm giving a heads up on future plans, basically. The popsicle sticks that I have are like 6 inches long, but they're only 10 millimeters wide. They're very thin, and that's why I got them. I got them because I can lay them beside a road. I can lay them beside a field or something, and the base won't take up, a huge 20 millimeter section. It'll only be 10 millimeter. It's great for 15 millimeter gaming. If I was doing, I don't know, Bolt Action or Hail Caesar, where I needed taller or thicker walls or fences or hedges, at 28 millimeter, those 10 millimeter popsicle sticks would be too small. I would use a standard 20 millimeter popsicle stick. Okay, so let's go ahead. Now, these two regiments, one is supposed to be the 8th, and one is supposed to be the 11th. Well, the 11th, I think it's the 11th, has pink facings, and is that the pink I want to use? Yeah. This is the flesh I'm going to use. This is the pink facings on one, and I do believe it's yellow facings on the other. I'm going off memory now. Let me put some of the stuff away that I know is in the way. Like these needle nose pliers, I don't need them over here. Screw cutter, don't need that over here. My tweezers, we've already gone through the tweezering part of it. I've got this here. I use this clamp on my town sector holding the fence up. And the knife. Okay, the knife can stay right there. That's perfectly fine. Yeah, so one's going to have a yellow, one's going to have a pink. I'm going to have... See, I'm trying to pull all the colors out now. This is what I go through every time I paint figures. I go through a preparatory stage where I've got a red on their collars and their epaulets and the little coat they wear under their plate armor. Okay, what do we got? A nice touch with the French flag at the bottom of your pick. Oh, yeah. It's actually the whole background, right? It's and because I'm painting French, I thought it would be a good... Thanks for noticing. What else? I need a metallic. Now, because these guys are not... they're not... I'm not going to be painting rifles with like gunmetal. I'm going to actually be painting a plate armor. I like to use plate mail. Now, I think I got a new metallic color in, but I think it was more gunmetal. Like that's gunmetal. Oh, chainmail silver. Yeah, I tried chainmail silver, which is a lot. It seems like it's darker than plate mail. Plate mail is kind of a bright color. Let me think about this. Chainmail. Chainmail is kind of a darker color. This is the old chainmail. Old plate mail. Okay, I might experiment, but we're gonna paint their plate either old chainmail silver or new chainmail silver or actual plate mail, as it's called, plate mail metal. There is a couple of eagles, so I will need brass for that. You got to have some brass. The blankets, I think, are blue. Might even be duck blue. Duck blue looks like it might be a good color for that, actually. It's a new color that I just got in, but I think I could use that. I'm visualizing in my head what color it should be. Or I might use a uniform blue. Yep, I think I'm going to use uniform blue also for Civil War or for French. And okay, what other colors do I need? I'm going to need a oh yeah, they're pants. On both of these regiments, they're not wearing gray pants. They're actually wearing a um a canvas looking uh brownish canvas looking pant. Okay. That's a canvas. What do we got over here? That's khaki. Okay, it's got too much of a thing going on. Green, khaki green, US field drab. I considered using US field drab. Also, Iraqi sand. Actually, Iraqi sand might be a better color because it winds up being a little bit lighter. Yep, drawers. Their drawers are going to be khaki. I need some black for boots and other things. Okay. We're getting there. That's grunge. This is chestnut. Okay, chestnut is a good horse color, right? And then there should be something called cavalry brown because I got that specifically for horses. And I'm trying to remember where I might have put it. Well, fudge. Now I gotta look because I can't remember. I got so many browns, it's hard to keep track of where all of them are. I don't think it's this one, but I could be wrong. Yep, it is that one. Okay, there's a cavalry brown, which seems to be a lot like this color. I don't think I'm going to use a whole lot of that cavalry brown. I think I'm going to use black brown as a base coat for all the horses, and then the officer is going to stay black brown. Everybody else is going to get these two colors. I want one more color though. I want one more, like maybe a medium brown or a flat earth. Too light. It's too light. I need something because I'm thinking horse colors. Chocolate brown seems pretty good. Chocolate brown seems good. Flat brown looks like it's the best. Okay, so these are going to be my 3 combat horse colors. That's going to be the officer, and then that's white gray. That's silver gray. I think silver gray. I think silver gray. That's going to be the horse of the musician. Oh, I almost forgot. The musicians in the Cuirassier units don't wear breastplates, and they wear green. Well, not all of them, but in these 2 regiments, it just happens to be these 2 regiments both wear green tunics. And I don't want them to be hunter green or too dark. I want them to be kind of Not a light green like the one I just got in. Where did I put that anyway? I just got in a brand new light green, right? Oh no, now it's disappeared. Unless this is it. Yeah, that's the one I just got in. It's called pale green, actually. That's too pale. I want it to be darker than that. Deep green might be the color to go with. It's a very deep green. Yep, I think that's what the musician's going to wear. I am going to need white for all different kinds of things, straps and whatnot. I'm bringing a white color. I don't think I'm going to need to do any hair because I think their helmet covers and the plume covers. Okay. All that's off of memory. There we go. Bear with me. What do we got going on here? Sean says, I'm just curious. What's your favorite movie and or television series that has to do with that time period regarding those battle wars? I'm sure you've seen Sharp's. The Sharp series is an excellent series. And it's really the only series. Right? I mean, there's the Black Adder and stuff like that, but that's not really nothing. War and Peace, that was pretty good. But the new movie Napoleon, it blew like donkey dicks. So I would say no, not on that. But if you're just going to go with a movie, it's Waterloo. Christopher Plummer and as Wellington. I think it's Christopher Plummer. But Waterloo is the best movie, and Sean Bean's Sharps series is excellent. Sharps Rifles, a lot of people get this mistaken. Sharps Rifles is one of the episodes, right? You got Sharps Eagle, Sharps Battalion, Sharps Barricades, Sharps Rifles, Sharps Sharpener. No, I don't know. But no, Sharps is probably, and I have most of those actually on my computer. But I don't have Waterloo on my computer. I actually don't own Waterloo. I got to pull something up. I got to pull up some uniform templates. While I'm doing it, let me just go ahead and show you what I'm looking at for my inspiration. Let's go to France. Let's go to Cuirassier, Carabiners, or Cuirassier. Carbinier. Okay. What did I say? 8th and 11th, right? Okay. So the 8th squadron, which is part of the 11th Cavalry Division, because that's the division we're working on right now. These are the guys with yellow. But you notice how he's got green. They've got white. They have white gloves, but I think it's not. I'm going to give them white gloves. Okay, so their sheaths are metal. Okay. Except for his. His is black with the gold, and these guys are just the metallics. Okay. They have blue sleeves. Okay, so their jacket is blue like this. And they've got yellow collars. Only the epaulets and the padding of the cuirassier or cuirass is red. Okay. No one's ever going to see like this little black belt. I'm not going to do that. But if it's a big white belt or, oh, there's gray. Okay, I don't think any of my guys have bedrolls over their shoulders, so I'm not going to worry about that. These guys are all metallic straps, where this guy's got like a red strap, white plume. It doesn't show the other plumes here, but looking at some of the other regiments, you know, I'm going to pull up maybe the first. You're going to see that they identified that they do have different color plumes. First through fourth company, and if they had 8 companies, those would be the other colors. And they only show little ball plumes, but one of these regiments, they have the full side plume. You know, so I plan to color them okay, wait a second. Yeah, red for the first company, blue. I don't think that's Aurora, which I think is supposed to be orange, but that looks kind of yellowish, but I think it's orange. Or maybe it's a light orange. And then the squadron staff. Whoops. See, and that regiment, they have blue, a blue musician, where if I was doing the 11th regiment, see, it's also green, and they have pink. Okay, that is going to be a metallic helmet. Oh, yeah, they've got the black fur, and black and white fur. And you see how they got the brownish pants? Okay, well, he's got the ivory pants. Okay, so maybe I need some ivory. Give me a second. I've got ivory. I've got something called arid earth. I know I've got ivory. I've got bone, beige matter beige, but I think this arid earth. No. Pale sand. Nope, too yellow. Drake tooth might be closer to ivory. Camel's toe. What do we got here? Yeah, this is Minoff white bone, still too brown. Jack bone, even more brown. Okay, so I think arid earth is the closest thing I have to ivory. I've got something called brain matter beige, which is a lot whiter. Oh, wait a second. I've got cream white. Let me see where that is. Thought it was up here with my Dunkelgelb. Cream white. Okay, hold on. No. Yes, no. Yeah, this has got a little bit of yellow in it, and I think that's what it needs. I could probably do a mixture, like a mix, but I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. Okay, so that's the 11th. Yeah, he's gray. Okay, so yeah, there's definite differences. I'm going to need gray anyway, so let's go ahead and pull it out. And that's... I'm thinking graphite. I use graphite a lot for uniforms, French uniforms, and greatcoats. Graphite and what's that other one? Basalt. But light or pale or ash, they seem to be a little too light. And that looks like it's got a little bit of brown in it, you know? Filthy cape. No, I'm gonna continue to use graphite. I think graphite will work. These are horses. These are officer pants. Okay. Okay, I think we are set. Let me go ahead and slide that off and turn this off. I'm sure you, okay. I purchased Sharp's rifles on Blu-ray Collector's Edition. Nice. You haven't seen Waterloo? Oh my gosh, you gotta check it out. It's like a 15-hour movie. No, it's not that long. It's like, I think it's just a 2-hour movie. It might be 2 or 3. It's more than just the Battle of Waterloo. It is the whole 100 Days battle, right? So the 100 Days War. You've got, I'm not going to spoil anything, although history has already spoiled everything. You've got the escape from Elba to the mainland is how it starts. And then his travel up through France towards Paris. And he's not in power. The King of France is in power. But remember, after the Peninsula War, and after, I think it was Borodino, I'm not sure exactly which battle it was, but like 1813, I think it was 1813, Napoleon was banished to Elba with him and his personal guard. And then he returned to the mainland in 1815 as a refugee, and then, you know, the rest is history. And not the ABBA version of Waterloo. Is there an ABBA version? Did ABBA sing the song called Waterloo? Okay, enough talking. Let me get to painting. My brushes, I've noticed it's the beginning of the month, and my brushes are starting to need a little love. So I might have to clean them. Okay, so we're going to put the horse colors on first. That's what they say. Do the horses. Yeah, these brushes are going to need a little love. Now, this dark brown that I'm doing, okay, let's put the cleaner varnish and the glues and the empty varnish bottle out of the way. There we go. Yeah, the brown for the horses is just going to go real. This is for every single horse. And it's just going to be the base coat. And then from this coat, I will blend outwards with the other colors. Yeah, okay. That's probably enough drops. Put a little water, thin it out just slightly. 1 to 4. Now I've already applied each of the bases, or I should say each of the popsicle sticks here is a different base. So when I get done painting them, yeah, this brush is not big enough. It's a nice brush, but I need a monster brush because I'm trying to do this. This is a bigger brush. Yeah, I don't think that's going to be enough dark brown. And I'm using black brown, so it's almost like it's super dark. What is going on? There we go. So it's going to be for the undercoat, the shadowing. So when I start to do the buildup of the lighter colors, the darker colors they're going to do two things. They're going to color the straps, and so I won't have to go back and recolor the straps, and they will apply shadows, which I won't really need to worry about because I'm going to apply a dark wash to these horses. So all the shadowing areas should be taken care of by the wash. But, you know, I just like doing it like this, not relying on the wash, even though even though it is a pretty good reliability. Okay, I'm painting these Cuirassier up. I say Cuirassier, but Cuirassier or uh, armored, heavily armored cavalry. Um, and I was noticing the guards don't have any Cuirassier. I thought there were line and guard Cuirassier, but I was mistaken. There are Grenadier guards on horse Grenadiers. But they're not wearing plates. There's also something called a carabinier, which a carabiner, or a carbine wielding cavalry. They're considered heavy as well, and they have a similar helmet. It doesn't have the flowing locks of hair. It has hair done up in like a ball or a manicured. And their breastplates are not steel. Well, they probably are steel, but they're colored bronze or brass. They have like this golden sheen to them. And I will be doing those coming up shortly as well, because this 11th Division, it has 2 regiments of Cuirassier, but it also has 2 regiments of Carabiniers. Yeah, all my sales are over with on the store. I do believe everything came to a close, except for the free shipping. I've got that set to continue for years, actually. The default end date, I think, is 2029 or something like that. I don't know. It's a long time from now. Yeah, it's not going to end anytime soon. But the 30% off for $30 or more, that's definitely, that was a break-even kind of thing. I was just wanting to move some product, make some money, but it was definitely a break-even. So I'm not going to do that again. Anytime soon. I might do it in the future, but no guarantees. I sold out on a lot of miniatures, and I just don't have the resources to restock. So, in the next couple of months, my financial situation should change drastically for one reason or another. I'm not going to reveal, but I'll be able to restock at that point. So if you guys can wait till July, I'm gonna have a sizable restock, unless I make some really good sales between now and then. But if everything's going the way it's going now, I'm actually hurting, guys. it's actually putting a strain on my finances. I can't restock like I used to. And I wonder if it's not the tariffs or anything, because tariffs haven't really hit me. The items, the product that I'm buying from overseas, which 9 out of 10 of my companies are all overseas in England. I have one that's actually in Ukraine, if you can believe that. But they have not imposed any kind of tariff bump. Because I believe that only certain products and model toys are not really part of the tariff situation. I would think electronics, like computer products and automobiles and phones, anything like that is probably impacted way more than plastic or metal miniatures, wooden bases, paint. Whoops, whoops, whoops. So that's a good thing for me, but it might be impacting my customers, in other ways, which might be why sales are down. I don't know. I don't really have any way to evaluate or check that against any hard numbers or anything. I'm just hypothesizing. But yeah, sales are way down. I think they're down about 30 to 40, no, maybe not 40%, but they're down about 30% the last time I checked. Now, this commission for this American Civil War, I've never done a commission for this guy. So I don't know how fast he will be able to pay his bills. Right? So hopefully, and remember, if I'm painting for him, I'm not painting for the store. Technically I am, because his work is store work, if that makes sense, because that's monetary input. But if he doesn't pay me on time or in a relatively speedy manner, then I'm putting myself deeper into a bind. But I am looking forward to getting his miniatures and starting to paint. Now, I'm going to pull some figures out, because he wants me to break it down into smaller payments. And I said, would 3 payments be good? Like 3 lots? And he's like, no, much smaller. I'm like, okay. So I'm thinking 1 or 2 units at a time. which I think I would be able to do 1 or 2 units a week, right? So, maybe not, but maybe a unit a week. Let's just say 1 unit a week. And if I'm able to do 1 unit a week, is he going to be able to pay each week for that unit? Or is he going to be bi-monthly or something where he can only afford, which I understand. I'm in the same boat, I guess. I understand financial struggles. So I try to be empathetic. So if he's only able to do it once every 2 weeks, then it's still going to help out the store quite a bit. Because what I'll do is I'll paint a unit a week for him and then a unit a week for the store. Right? So the store will still get inventory painted. Guys, I have a ton of miniatures. My first couple of years in business, I put everything into inventory. I have close to 1,000 products, literally. I think it's like 700 and something. I have like over 700 products for sale on my eBay store. So I have no problem pulling a box of miniatures or a bag of miniatures or something out of my inventory and painting it, right? Because I have hundreds. If my inventory was really low, like maybe 200 models or something, like 200 boxes of models, then I might have a little problem or hesitation to pull something and paint it. Now, I mentioned that I got a customer that's returning something because they didn't like the quality of the models, even though they were brand new, still in the bag. I guess he's never bought or owned any of these West Wind models. West Wind is a really good company. They're the same company that does the Forged in Battle, guys. Because when I order Forged in Battle, like from their website, the package comes in and it's shipped from West Wind. And they do a really good job on their 15 millimeters. That's the Forged in Battle stuff. But the 25 millimeter stuff or the 28 millimeter stuff is really bulky and clunky. The product line is called, what's it called? Berlin or Bust from West Wind. I personally love their models. I think they're really good. They're just really bulky, and some people like bulky models. And their faces might be a little to be desired. But I think part of that is as a modeler, you have to go in and clean them up. So like if there's a mold line going through somebody's nose, get in there and cut that off or file it off. You know, do what we had to do in the 80s. You know, with Grenadier models and Raul Partha and Games Workshop. You know, you got mold lines you had to correct or fix. That's what these West Wind models remind me of. They remind me of classic miniatures. And I guess this guy was too spoiled by new models, you know, from Warlord or from Games Workshop or Perry, you know, where they have excellent molds and they use the right kind of metal. It's actually a different type of pewter. The metal that West Wind uses is a soft metal, and the molds are probably old. I'm kind of guessing that they're old. They need to be redone. But West Wind is probably not in any hurry to redo them, because I bet you they make most of their money on their 15 millimeter Ancients and World War II. Because Forged in Battle Romans and stuff like that. Even though I'm not really impressed with their Ancient line, I do like their World War II line. It reminds me a lot of Battlefront, Flames of War. Speaking of which, Victrix is coming out with, if they haven't already released it, I know they've at least did some pre-orders for their World War II plastics, and they're 28 millimeter. One bag, it's expensive, you know, I don't know, $60, something like that. But one bag will get you enough miniatures to do a whole platoon with support elements. You know, like you'll get a bunch of riflemen, you'll get a machine gun team, you'll get a mortar, you'll get a Panzer Schreck, a bunch of Panzer Fausts to go in your squads. You'll get submachine guns to do officers. You'll even get STGs, the assault rifles. All in one bag. So when I get an opportunity, which I just told you, it'll probably won't be till July, or if I make some huge sales, or if I get some donations to the channel or to the store, using my PayPal me link in the description below. But if I get some income, I'll order those World War II kits because I think they're a great value. I mean, if I ordered, just using Warlord games as an example, because they're pretty inexpensive. But I've noticed that their prices have every year have gone up. And not just gone up, but kind of jumped up. I used to be able to get Warlord pretty cheaply, and now their prices are pretty outrageous. Actually, they've almost adopted a Games Workshop model. You know, they're really expensive. Well, not expensive. They're more expensive than they used to be. That's what I was trying to get to. But using them as an example, you get a you get a platoon of infantry for about, I don't know, $60. And so that's the same as the Victrix World War II German Grenadier set. So that's a wash. But if you wanted to get a machine gun team, you're paying another $20. You get that with the Victrix set. You want to buy a mortar set, you got to pay another $20. Panzerschreck team, well, the Panzerschreck team probably comes with maybe a flamethrower and maybe a sniper for another $20. Well, you definitely get snipers and Panzerschrecks in the set. I don't think you get a flamethrower, though. But these Panzer Grenadiers, there, you just paid like $60+ extra for Warlord to get those support elements. Where with Victrix, you don't. So it's almost half price. Well, based on the map that I'm using right now, it is exactly half price. But it's not, because you got to get your own bases. And because with Warlord, you actually get your bases included. And sometimes you'll get a decal sheet. So there is a little bit of bonus with the Warlord. But I can get enough bases to cover all my figures for like less than $10. Now, there's no anti-tank gun or anything like that, but you definitely have command elements. You got anti-tank elements with the Panzerschreck and Panzerfaust, machine guns and mortars and snipers. Yeah, it's just a much better value. Now the problem is, there is a problem. They're plastic. Some people out there in the world, and I'm one of them, don't really like plastic. I prefer metal miniatures. But I could I could resolve this in my head because the price is so good. You know, it's like, man, this price is so good. I'll overlook the fact that they're plastic and that I've got to assemble them. Yeah, I don't mind painting. I don't mind basing and flocking. And the one thing that drives me mad is assembling them. Only because it feels like it's so time consuming. And you got to get the pieces in just right. You know, you got to get them to fit just right. You got to eliminate all these mold lines, and you got to make sure the right arm is with the right torso, and you got to that's what I dread. Painting, not so much. Painting does usually take way more time than the assembly, but there's less stress because I know exactly what I'm doing. You know, it's like I don't need to worry about building anything. I just know what colors go where, paint by the numbers, and get it done. We line up on both sides of the field. We take turns shooting at each other, and we fight, and we win. Okay, I think I'm going to be out of brown before I get to the last popsicle stick. Which is okay. I can always just add some more drops. But all we're going to be doing is painting horses today. I don't think I'm going to be able to get uh, done with the horses in time to start painting other things. Yeah, I'm running low. Excuse me, I had a burp. So I had a chance to see the Thunderbolts. Have you guys seen the Thunderbolts yet? I watched a couple of reviews of people that got a chance to see it before me. Um, Non spoiler reviews, like they would just give you their opinion. Um, I'm going to give you my opinion. I'm going to try not to spoil anything. Okay, I might have watered that down too much. I'm going to put him over here and come back to him with a second coat, possibly. Or maybe I just didn't stir it up. Okay, that's better. Um, it starts off kind of like any movie, right? It just starts off like any other movie. And it progresses like you would expect. And then the movie changes like 1/3 of the way through. It just all of a sudden it feels like a different movie. It's like I'm watching a TV series and they've gone into the second season and they had a change of writers. That happens about 1/3 of the way through the movie. I'm like, wait a second. This movie just made a big change. It's not this original story. It's now a different story. Not a bad story, not wrong, and not, I'm not upset about it. I'm just stating that I noticed it. It's like, oh, good. They did it. They probably did a reshoot or they probably did a rethink of how they wanted to tell the story, because it's obviously different. It goes from one thing and then it switches to another. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? I had no problem following the movie. It wasn't like a disastrous change. It was still in the continuity. I could still follow the story. Everything was still good to go. I'm just saying it changed. And then it became a different type of movie. And then, and I will say that it does have a message. Like some people say, oh, Marvel's all about ideology and wokeness and whammons. They got to do gender swaps and, well, I didn't really feel that this time. Well, now that I'm talking to you and I'm thinking back on it, there is something about it that didn't bother me at the time because I was into the movie. I was like digging it. But thinking back on it, there is something now that's just sitting here. I'm starting to fume. I'm starting to get pissed off. I was about to give it okay praise. I was about to say this movie was okay. It didn't like get in your face and say, there wasn't any gay scenes. There was no homosexuality going on, which I really appreciate that. This is the first Marvel movie since Endgame that doesn't have something gay going on. So I really appreciate that. But they made all the men idiots. They made Bucky an idiot. And we already know Bucky from the shows. He's not an idiot. He's stubborn. He's got issues, but he's an idiot. The Red Guardian, he's the worst kind of idiot. But then again, he was kind of already that, right? Um, John Walker, the U.S. agent. They made him an idiot. And the villain. Okay, I'm ruining it for you, but well, he's not really the villain. There's a new superhero that I guess he's a hero. But there's a new hero in town. Guess what? He's an idiot. I can say, I say idiot, but really socially awkward. If all the men are socially awkward and all the women are well adjusted, then there would be a problem. But all the women aren't well adjusted either. They're all idiots. Everybody. But they just make the men out to be really, really, really bad. They try to balance it out by saying the women have problems too. But their problems are I don't know. I might be talking out my ass because everybody had problems. And that's what the message is. If you're going in there hoping there's no message, there is a message. But it's a message I think I might be able to get behind. It's that everybody's messed up. Everybody's got social problems, you know. We just have to get over it. We have to get past it. Family is how you do it. You know, they're saying having friends that can help you get through your issues. It's a good message. And it's a message that everybody should be able to get behind. And it wasn't, well, it kind of was stuffed down your throat, but in a way that you could swallow it. I just wish they didn't make the men the worst. Okay, so that was the dark brown, and I'm going to take this dark brown, and I'm going to put it away because I'm not going to use it ever again. Dark brown. Okay, the focus is horrible, but that's okay. You get the idea. Do I have autofocus turned off? I might. I don't think I do. I should be able to focus as close as this. But my camera doesn't want to do it. It says, I refuse. I ain't changing. I might have turned off autofocus. It is possible. Because sometimes it'll do one of those numbers, and I, as a viewer, I can't stand watching other people stuff like that. Looks promising. Wait, I've had a look at Waterloo 1970. Rod Steiger, that's the one. Christopher Plummer, you got it. It is chef's kiss. It's a good one. I like it. I like it a lot. Okay, what color are we going to go with next? We're sticking with the horses. Right? Yes, we're sticking with the horses. Hey, there's a little piece of fence and a piece of brick wall that I must not have cleaned up the last time I was through here. Okay, so not all of them are going to be the same color. This is one of those times not doing the white, but I am doing these 3 colors. I need 3 spots of open on my palette. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this palette and I'm going to sideline it for a fresh plate. And we're going to put one of each of these colors in the 3 different palette holes. I'm about to do, yeah, This is a Vallejo Cavalry Brown. Give it a good shake. I'm hearing it move around inside there. The Cavalry Brown looks a lot like the primer color, but that's okay. Because that's actually a good brown. Okay, 1, 2, 3 drops. 3 drops of Cavalry Brown. Now, normally I do like a 4-to-1. Well, now I'm doing a 3 to 2. So it is very wet. Very thin. Not so much that the pigment breaks down. All right. This might be too thick of a brush. Yep. I can already tell it is. Because I want to get in between the straps. Even though it's wet, I'm doing the rump and the top half of the leg. And the belly. And the 4/4 or whatever it's called. But only in front of the strap. Between the reins and the strap. Above the reins. Beneath the bridle. Above the bridle. The ear. Okay. Got to do the other side. Just the rump. Top half of the legs. The belly, but only behind the strap. The saddle strap. The front quarter. Down to the knee of the horse. The reins and the strap. Above the reins. Below the mane. The ear. Below the bridle, above the bridle. And of course, the nose. Now, you might think that that guy is fully painted, but he's not. Because I watered it down so much, it's going to thin. It's going to thin out. And it's going to be almost not visible. And I'm only doing 1 horse per base this color. Yeah, one of these guys is supposed to be the officer. And I don't know if I can tell the difference between any of these guys. They all seem to have exactly the same uniform. Because it's not like just one guy has a plume or... So when we get to the command stand, I'm just going to not do one. Because the officer is going to have a dark black-brown horse. So his horse is already colored. With the base primer color, you know what I mean? You know what I mean, Jellybean? I think you can watch the Waterloo movie on YouTube. I think there's the full version is available on YouTube. If you wanted to, if you wanted to watch it. And this is only the first run with this color. Watered down like this. Um, the next time I go at it, I'll only hit the raised, the highlighted areas. So it'll be a lot more pigment in those areas. And because of the way it's watered down, it'll gradually fade until the other color. So it'll look like it's been blended, which it has been. Okay. Ooh, these guys are starting to still be wet. Maybe I need to slow down. Nope. No slowing down. And if I get a little of this color on the boots, or if I get a little of this color on the saddle or anything like that, it's perfectly fine because I still haven't painted those yet. It's one of those I'll cover it later situations. And I'm not trying to paint all the way up to the straps. I'm just getting close to the straps, leaving a little bit of that black brown shining through. As those shadows I talked about earlier. So this is just a pet peeve of mine. This is a grind my gears kind of situation. Totally off subject. But I watch there's a couple of things. It's the language. It's a language thing. There's a couple of a couple. Is it raining? Oh my gosh, it's pitch black outside. I'm hearing rain. That's not my pet peeve. Words that are being used more now than 10 years ago or last year or a couple of years ago. There is a increase in the number of people saying again. Or again. And it would be no problem. Okay, here we go. Let me explain the situation. They're talking about a topic. Let's just make up a topic. Let's say I'm talking about I'm talking about rifles and how much damage to the human body each caliber of bullet does. Okay, let's just say that's what I'm talking about. And we talk and we talk and we talk, and this whole time I've been talking about American or NATO calibers, 5.56, 7.62, maybe even 30-06 or 420s or whatever I'm talking about, right? 9 mil, 2 millimeter. I could be talking about all different kinds of calibers. And then I never even said anything about Russian calibers this entire time. And then I say, again, if I was, when I'm talking about 7.62, I'm not talking about, Russian caliber, or whatever. And why is that an again? It's not again. You started a whole new topic. You said something new. It's not again. That's my pet peeve. Using the word again when there is no again. Okay, so while that first row of cavalry brown is drying, because it will take a minute to dry, I'm going to start on another one of my colors, chestnut brown. And I'm not sure if that was 3 drops because there were some serious air bubbles in that. And I'm going to give it 2 serious drops of serious drops of water to make it almost a wash. Not exactly, but almost. And then we do the same thing. The Rumpelstiltskin. And I learned something today working on my Pendragon campaign. One of the characters in my game has an item called a bridle, right? You know, for a horse. But it's called a bridle with filigree. Not filigree, but filigree. And I was like, what is filigree? And apparently, the Roman armors had filigree. I guess I never knew what it was called. But you've seen it. Like they would wear chainmail, and then on that chainmail, they would have like this harness and then all of leather straps. And at the intersection of all those leather straps would be like a brass plate of some kind, usually like the face of the emperor or something like that. And those are called filigranes. And I looked it up on Google, I guess. Actually, I tried Chat GPT first. That didn't really help, actually. But when I Googled it, it came up with some images of bridles with these little gold plates on them. Gold or brass or whatever. Little discs. And they said that was a bridle with filigree. So, of course, I captured the photo and I put it into my game and listed it as a bridle with filigree so that the players would know exactly what it was, because I didn't know what it was. Because in Pendragon, the game, my campaign starts in year 508. When did the Romans leave England? Does anybody know? I could Google it. And I should Google it. But the Romans pretty much ran England for many centuries. And one of the main cities in the game is called Londinium. It's not London. And it's like Anglo-British, right? That's the time of Arthur and his knights and all that. Not Anglo-British, Romano-British. That's what I meant. So a lot of Roman influences are in effect. Like architecture, roads. The roads are listed as Roman roads. There's dirt trails and there's merchant paths and Roman roads. I think Rome left in the late 400s, right? Left the island. I think they probably pulled back south of Hadrian's Wall earlier than that, and then finally left and just gave up on England. In 400 something. So the idea of the Dark Ages is the fact that they don't have this Roman I want to say intelligence, but that's not really the word I'm looking for. This Roman guidance. They're basically left to their own devices. And so the continent, or I should say the island, has gone into kind of a chaos where there's marauders, and each king or each ruler thinks he's the king, you know. Everybody wants to be the one true king. And the prophecy says, you know, whoever pulls the sword from the stone will be the one true king. But this is all post-Roman. There's pagans still running around. Romans had, by this time, had pretty much adopted Christianity. They're not, you know, worshiping Jupiter and Mars and all those guys any longer. They pretty much brought Christianity to England. The Roman Church. Right? I'm not speaking out my ass, am I? I could very well be. Okay, we're going to do this flat brown on the remaining 6 horses. Whoa. 1. That didn't count as 1. That was an air bubble. 1, 2. Okay. So that was more of a runny drop. So I'm going to count that as a couple of drops. I'm going to put not so much water. Still very watery. Perfect. Flat brown is probably the best horse color. But again, I want variety on my horses. Because once I put the wash on them, a dark wash, it's going to darken them all down anyway. And they're all going to be very similar in darkness. That, yeah, they all have a different shade. But the wash is really going to make a difference. And plus, this is only the first coat of the blend. So I wanted to do a couple more videos today, but I don't know if I'm going to get around to them. I wanted to do some what's in the boxes for those medieval towers that I got in. And late at night, when the house is empty and I'm able to, well, not empty, but when everybody's asleep and I'm able to do videos, I don't. I play computer games at that time and stream it. I've been streaming Skyrim. I've been digging it a lot. And I've learned that Invictus for Star Citizen starts on, I think they said the 16th. And I plan to go live in Star Citizen on the 16th. So Skyrim will be put on the back burner for about 1 week. There's been a lot of changes in Star Citizen, but not significant enough for me to care. But I do want to attend the Invictus. Do I do both sides? Did I do both sides? Yeah. Did I? Yeah. Invictus is the celebration of the Empire's military. They're running this test game because it's called, the Persistent Universe. But it is still basically in alpha. They haven't finalized all the features that are going to be in the game yet. And some of the features that are in the game aren't finalized either. So it's really an incomplete game, but they prioritized writing stories mainly to keep the player base interested enough to keep coming back and testing their broken game. They mentioned that some of these tests that go on during this time period are not going to be reproduced when the game goes live. I personally think that's a mistake. There's a lot of things I don't like about Star Citizen. A lot of things I would do differently. But it's still better than all the other competitors. And the main thing that I would do differently that frustrates me every time I log in. Actually, it doesn't frustrate me every time. It frustrates me every time I think about it. And I try not to think about it. Leveling, progression, character advancement, skills. None of that is in the game. There is no character progression. There is no leveling. There are no skills. There is only two things that measure how well you're doing. And one of them is the worst way to measure how you're doing, in my opinion. One way is reputation, and I'm totally okay with that. I think reputation is a really good method of keeping your character in line with what you're trying to accomplish. So you might have like a mercenaries guild. You've done a bunch of missions for the mercenaries guild, so they like you. And they continue to give you missions. Because you are known to get the job done. Or something like that. Okay, I think that's really nice. That's really good. The other way that you can track your progress is by how much money you have. That's a horrible way to track your progress. Money in game should be, now I'm going back to the original color and we're doing a second coat. Money should be its own reward. It should not be a goal. And they disguise that goal by saying what kind of ships you have. The more money you have, the more ships you can have. What kind of ships do you have? Looking in your hangar, if you got one ship, you know you're pretty much just starting out. If you got two ships, you progressed on to a second ship. If you got a third ship, you know you're doing really good. Fourth ship, fifth ship, sixth ship. And it keeps going. Now, how do you get these ships? You buy them with credits. Oh, he's got a really cool set of armor. How did he get it? He bought it with credits. What about that weapon he's got? It's really funky colored. Well, he got that on a mission he went on. But if you go to this place, you can buy it with credits. So credit acquisition, I should say, is how they measure your progress. Along with reputation. Now, the main reason why they do that, now I understand the thought process, I just think it's flawed. Their thought process is don't give people levels, don't give them experience points, don't reward them with their character getting better over time, because that's not fair. I'm sorry. Because that's not fair to everyone else. And they want you to rely on knowledge of the game and how to play the game and the quality of the actual player, not his character, in accomplishing goals. They want it to be what they call a skill-based game, but it's not a skill-based game. It's a no-skill game where the player has to have the skill, not the character. Okay, well, I get that. They want you to develop your own way of doing things, and they don't want aimbots, or, like, as an example, if you had a really high, like you've been playing for years, and you had a really high marksmanship skill, they don't want you to be able to hit your target better than someone who just started. And I think that's flawed. And I think it's flawed because of human psychology. If any of these game designers had any kind of human insight, they would know that this is flawed. It sounds good on paper, but when you get somebody in a game they want to see their avatar getting better. And they want that dopamine rush when you get that ding ding, you've gained a new level in bullshittery or whatever, right? Players love that. And that alone will get them to keep coming back. Man, I remember 10 years ago when I went on this mission with a bunch of my friends, and they were all like 20th level, and I was only first level, and they had to carry me through the mission. And now, 10 years later, I'm 20th level, and I'm carrying players through missions. You know, the guy is first level, and he goes on a mission, and there's only like 5 guys there defending the base. And the mission pops up and said, level 1 mission. Expect about 5 people defending the base. You either accept it or you decline it. Well, I'm 20th level, so I'm going to decline that. Or I'm first level, and that mission says that it's a 10th level mission, and all the guys there are going to be really strong, so maybe I decline that mission. Or I work towards it because I want to become better. And I take that mission because I know the rewards are going to be stronger. Okay, somebody's outside sliding. Must be Alex. Hey. Is it still raining?
Yeah, it's raining pretty. Well, it was raining pretty heavy, but it's like kind of
Slow down a little?
slowed down. But it's supposed to rain like most of the day.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I heard the rain, and I heard it actually close the door.
Oh.
The sliding door just slid across there and closed. Now, I identified this as a problem many years ago. Remember, this game has been in production for over 13 years. I even made some YouTube videos about it. But CIG doesn't watch my YouTube videos. And if they do, they don't care. They've got their plan from Chris, and Father knows best, right? So Chris is going to ruin his game. What I'm trying to say is people are going to get bored quickly. But what I suggested was to implement levels, or you can even go with a percentage, maybe not a percentage system, but yeah, like a percentage system, where you go on certain missions or you do certain tasks, and you get a level in that task. Let's stick with marksmanship. Let's say I shoot a sniper rifle and I kill a dude, and I do it like 10 times, let's say, and I get a level in sniper rifle, right? Or marksmanship, or gunnery, or whatever the skill, whatever they want to call the skill. And that's tracked on your character sheet or in your mobiGlass or wherever it's tracked. So you could go in and say, I'm a 10th level marksman. Now, you take that skill and you apply it to the game like this. It adds no bonuses. It does absolutely nothing for your character. So the game is still a skill-based game. It still requires the player to do all the heavy lifting. But he gets acknowledged for doing that heavy lifting. Maybe he gets a medal. Because you've shot 10 people with a sniper rifle. So maybe you get a sniper badge. Or maybe you get something on the website to put on your profile. People love that kind of stuff. And it doesn't ruin the game. It doesn't take away from I want my game to be a skill-based game. let's say there's a lock picking mini game, which there is supposed to be one in the final game. They just haven't included it yet. They want to have intrusion skills and breaking into people's ships or corporate buildings or whatever. And yeah, give them a specialty lockpick set, or give them a, that's so old they can't even use it. Or as they level up, they start to get recognized. This is part of the reputation system. It kind of bleeds into the reputation system that you'll get offers to do certain jobs based on your skill, not just your reputation. Like someone might say, you've never worked for our company before, but I've heard you're the best. In the current reputation system, you have to work and gradually build up your skill, or your reputation with that company before they will offer you any additional work. I don't know. You could even track your experience level. You could say, a lot like the way Skyrim does it. I'm just going to use that as an example because it's fresh on my mind. And it's exactly what I was recommending. I recommended this like 10 years ago. Let's say you level up your lockpicking skill and your marksmanship skill and a couple of other skills, I don't know what, haggling or sweet talking or crafting, because crafting is going to be a skill. Let's say you've crafted 100 bolters or something. Once you've reached a certain level with a certain number of other skills, then your character level goes up. It gives like a general idea of how good your character is overall. And I don't have a problem giving somebody an in-game bonus for obtaining a certain amount of levels. And what I'm talking about is like hit points or quicker reflexes or something like that. Now, the modifier can be like super small. Okay? Let's say you get a 0.1% boost to your hit points every time you gain a level. And let's say you start with 100 hit points. Well, you'd have to gain 10 levels to get 1 hit point. People would eat that up. They would be all about trying to get out there and grind the levels. And what does that really do for you? Nothing. You got 50 levels. That's 5 hit points. out of 100. That's not going to be a game changer, but it is going to be a motivational reward. People are going to get those endorphins. I gained a level. I got 0.1 hit points. Oh, I need to keep going. Or they can balance it out. They can say 1% if they want, depending on how hard it is to gain a level. And is there level caps and stuff like that? Okay, so I'm almost done with the third color. And then we'll go to the officers and the buglers. And make sure they get their love as well. One thing about using this color of brown on these guys, I can avoid the mane and the tail, and that dark brown will serve as the mane and the tail hair color. But now when I get to the gray one, I might come back later, like with graphite or whatever I've got over there as gray, and I might touch the mane and the tail with a darker gray. Actually, I might use like a dunkel, like a German gray or something, because it's like really dark. Okay. So now I can take all three of these browns and stash them. I'm not getting back to them. Not for horse colors. I might come back to them for another color. Okay, so this is called silver gray. Okay, it looks like there might be some more chats. I'll get it after I do the silver gray. Okay. There's only 2 horses that are going to get this color. So I don't need a whole lot of drops. Because remember, I'm going to water these down. 1 drop should be enough. Okay. All right, just the musician. He's going to get a rump. And again, I'm avoiding the straps because they're already colored. The belly, the leg. These legs I might go a little bit lower than the knee. Because I don't want them all to have black socks. Okay. The other side. Now they have these storyline missions which sound really exciting. You know, I'm like, oh, that sounds really, really exciting. Too bad I don't want to ruin my character reputation by doing one of these missions. If I knew there was going to be a character wipe, I would jump on a lot of these missions. I would say like, oh, cool, I could go do this mission and not worry about the repercussions. The problem with that is there are repercussions. They have said they're trying not to do any more wipes. They want your character to progress through the reputation chain. And I'm like, okay, cool. Because I really want to progress through the reputation chain. But the last couple of months, the last 5 months, it's all been criminal activity. Or a mission that I have no business getting involved in. Because I'm kind of role-playing out that my character, and these are the types of missions that I accept, is a military person. And any type of mission that's like a rescue mission or a stop bandits from taking over a base, or something like those are the missions that I'm taking. But when it's a mission that says, go to this outpost and kill everyone because they're threatening our piracy, I'm like, I'm not doing that mission. Now, if there was a way to go to that place and defend them against other people coming to kill them, I might consider that. But part of the story is you're either with them or you're against them. And if you're with them, you're also a pirate. because it's like two pirate factions going up against each other. And I'm not going to do that. So I had 5 months of no real missions for me, other than the generic, repeatable, same old, same old. Now I've heard rumors through the grapevine that during Invictus, which remember is a military celebration, and I would find myself inclined to go to this celebration as a military personnel. The rumors say there's going to be an attack on Invictus. And I'm like, okay, this sounds like it's something for me. If the rumors are not true, then the cycle continues. No mission for me. Now, I have considered, like if there's no attack on Invictus, I've considered a return to my galactic tour and go through Pyro and kind of show that system off. Now that they've got most of the bugs worked out for like gas and stuff like that, there were some serious problems with traveling and textures not loading in and stuff like that. But since they've got that pretty much worked out, I don't think it would be too much of a struggle to go do a galactic tour. Now, if there is an attack on Invictus, then I'm definitely going to participate in that instead. And the galactic tour will be on pause. I have a little bit of a issue. I don't really like sharing this publicly, but I don't mind because you guys are here for the special tea. I've got an issue with my organization. My squadron, the 1st Naval Aerospace Squadron. There is an issue. Okay, what's this called? Dunkel Gray. I'm just going to do tails and manes on those 2 horses. And I'm going to do them. And it's not going to be a blend. It's just going to be a straight paint. Straight paint. 1 drop. That should be all it needs. The problem is we have a bunch of good guys. Let me rephrase that. Let me more accurately phrase that. We had a bunch of good guys in our squadron, in our organization. They a lot of them have moved on to other organizations or stopped playing Star Citizen, never show up to any of our meetings or anything like that. Some of them, which is weird, I'm going to have to say this is weird, some of them don't have the time to play Star Citizen because they've got their family or whatever, their work schedule has changed or something that caused them to have to drop out. And here's another one, another weird one. They joined the organization, because the organization sounds cool and everything, but they don't have a computer. I know, I said it. They don't have a computer, so they have no way to play. They have to save up their money to get a computer. Okay, all the horses themselves are done. Now we're going to progress onto the saddle area, and then we'll work on to the character himself. But I'm not going to do that right now. What I'm going to do is end this video, get some lunch in my body, and maybe run outside while it's raining, and see if I received my package from uh, from this patron who wants me to paint his armies. Um, and I'll also, because I really want to crack down on working on my Pendragon game, uh, getting everything ready for our first session. That's really the the majority of the work is everything up to that first session. Because once we get the session going and all that work is already done, there's just little bits of add-ons and tweaks that need to happen going forward. It's just that initial setup that takes so long, and so that's what I am going to spend most of this week doing is working on that setup. All right, guys. Thanks for coming out and hanging out with me, and I will catch you. Wait. Sean looks at the battle itself, the weapons used, locations, etc. 2 episodes in all. Oh, you're talking about Sean Bean. Yeah, Sean Bean did do a like a documentary thing where he looked at the battle. He one of the Sharps, maybe one or two of the Sharp series actually takes place during Waterloo. I think it's called Sharp's Waterloo. Um, yeah, so I don't know. Um, you might inspire me to go back and watch some of these Sharp series and the Waterloo movie. Just I'm really, but I am going to let you guys go. You guys all take care, and I will catch you on the flip side.